everyone, welcome back to Elemental Cartomancy. I'm coming on today to talk to you about the Morgan Greer Tarot. Those of you that are in the Hermit's Cave might remember that I put on a post, like it was maybe last week or one day through this week, saying I'm looking at getting a tarot and a tin, just to kind of keep in the car, so that I've got one with me at all times. What one would people recommend? So thank you very much to everyone who posted on that because it was really helpful because there were some that I found that I hadn't seen before. So it was nice just just browsing all the different tarots in a tin. Um, as you can see, I've settled on the Morgan Greer for now, although I'm thinking about getting the Centennial as well. I kind of had in my head that I wanted to get one that I've already got in the normal size edition, which is why I went for the Morgan Greer. Because I already have the Morgan Greer in normal tarot size. And I thought it's something a wee bit different from your standard Smith weight, although, as I say, I'm probably going to end up getting the Centennial anyway. So what I'll do, I'll turn the camera around, we can see what's on the table, and we can see what my plan is for this video, and talk a bit about the card size and stuff. Okay guys, so you can see that I'm doing a bit of a side by side here. I thought it might be quite interesting to flip through both the standard size Morgan Greer and the pocket, or the tarot in a tin, which is the pocket size Morgan Greer. Um, what I'll say first of all, you can see right away if I move my hands away and take away some of the shadows, you can see that there's a bit of a difference in the colors. Okay, so this is a bit more of a vivid red than this. I believe that that is the case. I'm not sure if I've had this deck for a long time. Okay, I think I got this maybe in the early 2000s or something like that. So it may well be that just through time and use and wear and tear and whatnot, this is a bit more washed out than what it might be if you bought a full size Morgan Greer today. Okay, but we're going to flip through and see anyway. Firstly, a bit of a size comparison for you. So the standard Morgan Greer is exactly your standard tarot size. So I'm just comparing that to the kind of a standard US games. You can see there's a bit of a difference, but nothing consequential there. Your pocket size, so I'll compare it to this to let you see what size the pocket size is in comparison to a normal tarot card. So you can see that it's a fair bit smaller. Okay. Now, I also wanted to show you because before I bought the tarot in a tin, I wanted to see this. I wanted to see what it was in comparison to a standard playing card size. And this is just to show you. So you can see that the tarot in a tin is, or at least the Morgan Greer tarot in a tin is, as I understand it, they're not all the same size, but it's a bit taller, but a bit thinner. So it's kind of it's scale factor of the tarot size, I think. Whereas obviously playing cards are a bit kind of a broader comparatively than what tarot is, so that is why it's taller and thinner. Okay, but I think that they're around about the same kind of a surface area. They're both around about 53, 55 square centimeters. And yes, I have measured just because I wanted to find out. Um, so it kind of compares to a playing card size is what I would say. The card stock in both is really nice. It's kind of a standard US games card stock. Pretty decent. They both glide nicely. They glide nicely in the hand, that nice buttery cardstock feel. So yeah, let's begin then the flip through. So right away we're seeing with the full cards, we're seeing that difference in that red that I'd commented on. Okay. Um, I suppose the blues look a wee bit different as well, but you're not really seeing much difference apart from that. Well, no, you are. Look at the greens and the kind of the tights that the fool's wearing. This just feels more vivid than this one. Again, colours are more vivid with the Magician's Cloak. You see it in the rose as well. Our High Priestess. Much more kind of a cerulean blue, you know, a deeper blue than this, whereas it just feels a bit paler here. And that, you know, the moon is just a bit more vivid yellow, a bit shinier. So we're probably going to see that as a common theme throughout, you know, the entire deck. So I'm going to stop saying it because it'll become repetitive, I think. I'll just flip through it and let you see them for yourself. I'll do a quick flip through here. Okay, so I'm going to comment here on the Emperor's Cloak because this looks more as though it's intended to be more of a kind of a brown colour in this Emperor. Whereas here it's, you know, the cloak is a scarlet red. So it's almost like they've properly changed the colour in this one. So that's quite interesting. I'd say the same again with the sun here. You know, it's almost like they've decided to change the colour of the sun. I know they're both this orangey colour, but it doesn't feel like one is just a more worn out version of the other. It feels as though they've decided to make it this more reddish orange colour. Again, the same thing here with the Emperor's Cloak. Much redder here than what it is here. This is more of a kind of a browny colour. This is more kind of a scarlet red. Actually, again, it's more like the insides of the Queen's cloak here. This is kind of a yellowy goldy, whereas this is much more kind of a browny colour. See that? I love this Three of Swords. You're probably used to hearing me having a bit of a whinge about the Solabusca Three of Swords. I just think it's really overdone and to me it's not really aligned with how I tend to read the Three of Swords, and just it seems odd having a heartbreak card bunged in the middle of a suit that's about the mind, the intellect, learning, knowledge, all of that kind of thing. And I know, I understand that knowledge can bring heartbreak and all that kind of thing, the truth hurts. Um, but generally it's not a card that I tend to like. This, however, there's just something about this, and I know that it's just, it's very much based off the Rider-Waite-Smith. There's just something aesthetically about this particular card that I love, and I always have. This is a card, I'll be totally honest with you, that I'm not too keen on, this Nine of Swords. It's odd because it feels like pretty much the rest of the deck is more or less based on the Smith-Waite cards, and then you have this card, which is really different. I get that the Morgan Greer does tend to be a bit of a zoom in on the details of the Rider-Waite, and a lot of the cards we see that it's very much zoomed in and it's focusing on particular parts. What irks me a wee bit about this card is it almost looks like it should be an Eight of Swords to me. You get this kind of a tying together of the hands. It's quite, it has an Eight of Swords feel to it. It feels more like an Eight of Swords than it does a Nine. It's, it doesn't make it or break it for me. It's not the be all and end all, but it's just something that I've always thought about this particular card. You can see that they've changed the skin tone. It looks as though there's been it's not just like a, see, the thing about this is it's, throughout the deck, this feels a lot more like kind of a shadowy, just the colours, they feel a wee bit more muted, just a bit shadowed. But you can see, in cards here and there where they've actively changed made the choice to change the colour and not just the, the tone. We really see that here in the skin tone of the hands. Again, you can see it in the skin tone here. Shuffling wise, the so just focusing on the the tarot in a tin now. Shuffling wise, it's obviously it's if you've got smaller hands, you'll find this much easier to overhand shuffle. Um, just of course due to the size of it, it's much easier to kind of get your hands around it and get a good shuffle on it. It's more like shuffling playing cards than it is normal tarot cards. Um, I'm used to shuffling bigger cards, so to be honest, I find myself just like that, like throwing the cards about a wee bit more until I get used to it. But it's yeah, it's fine. It's easy enough to shuffle. Quite nice to shuffle. Um, it riffle shuffles quite nicely. I just need to be careful because I've got a tendency to I seem to be losing my touch when it comes to riffle shuffling lately. So I kind of bent the ends of some of the cards earlier on when I was riffling. So that's just something that you can kind of see it there. So I just need to be careful when I'm riffle shuffling. Um, but yeah, a nice shuffler anyway. Now, one of the good things about um, having a tarot in a tin, having a smaller size tarot deck, not only is it kind of I mean, tarot decks are portable anyway, but not only is it smaller and easier to throw in your bag or, in your pocket or whatever, but also you can, use bigger spreads and use less table, so if you've got limited working space, then perhaps a smaller tarot is going to be ideal for you, especially if you like to use bigger spreads. So I thought I would show a bigger spread today as the sample reading, and I'm actually going to use the horoscope spread. So this is a 12 card spread, and the cards are set round in a circle, and each card corresponds to, one of the houses in the horoscope or one of the signs in the horoscope, which are kind of similar. And yeah, it tells us a different kind of a thing about, different aspects of the querents keep throwing cards everywhere. Different aspects of the querents, kind of of them, of their life, of them as a person. Okay, so we can think about this as a reading for the collective. Um, okay, so our 12 cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn up the 12 cards. I feel with the horoscope spread, it's better to have everything in front of you rather than just reading them one by one. Um, you'll also see this kind of a read as a kind of Um, sometimes you can do it as like a 12 months ahead spread where each of the cards represents one of the months ahead, and you just kind of read it to see what's coming up. Right, okay, that's really going to annoy me if that's not going to stay. Um, so we've got a High Priestess, a Six of Cups, a Eight of Cups, Seven of Pentacles, um, Wheel of Fortune, Nine of Cups, King of Cups, and what I'll do is I'll try and kind of straighten this out. It's because I think my camera's at a funny angle. So the cards are coming up really kind of the spread's coming up very squinty on the screen. Right, okay, if we can get the High Priestess and the King aligned, maybe look at doing the same with the rest. So problem with having slidey, that buttery cardstock that I was talking about, as they do this where they just move of their own volition when they're sitting in the spread, so they'll just start spinning. I find it really annoying and distracting. But yeah, see like that. I think that'll do the trick for now, for the purposes of what we're using it. It lets you see the cards set out in a kind of a spread, I guess. Um, so let's see. The horoscope, I won't kind of go into the nitty-gritty of every single one, but let's just take a couple of examples. So for example, the second house, which kind of corresponds to Taurus, that talks about our possessions, our kind of a material life, our finances, the stuff that we've got around about us. And then let's see, we've got kind of a Virgo, which is the sixth. So one, two, three, four, five, six here. That represents day-to-day working life and that kind of a stuff. Um, So we can see we've got two cups cards for that. We've got the Six of Cups, which is a card about harmony, harmonizing the emotions type thing, and then we've got the Nine of Cups, for for the working life. So I mean, I would say that these two cards are, the Nine of Cups being about being satisfied, emotionally. So both cards are quite positive emotional cards, and they're both cards about, they talk about achieving satisfaction. Um, so I would say things are looking quite positive for this querent in terms of their job, their finance. These two cards are aligned, which is nice. It's good to see that, the hard work that they're putting in is paying off. These two cards are kind of a singing from the same hymn sheet, if you will. Okay. What about the reputation? So reputation is the 10th one, that's Capricorn. And we see the Ace of Swords for that, that's up here. So we actually see some changes happening and we're changing the suit, okay? So not necessarily a negative card, but there's a change in energy here, okay? You see that real kind of that flux there. Um, so I mean, there seems to be real consistency with the work that the person is doing and, the outcome that they're getting from it, the security that they're able to create and their own lives as a result of that. However, their reputation, the way that people are looking at them is changing. There's something new coming in there. So that's interesting, when you kind of a look at them in tandem. Another kind of a combination that I might look at is the very first card is Aries, and that is like the person that's their identity, that's who they are. If we're liking then I like to think of this as the kind of a solar plexus chakra. If you work with the chakras, so your identity, your sense of self-worth, that kind of a thing. So comparing that to the reputation card is again quite interesting because this is like who you are deep down. This is who you are as a person, and then your reputation, your status, that is kind of who you appear to be from the outside. Okay, so this suggests the high priestess suggests that perhaps who this person is quite reserved, quite secretive, quite they don't give too much away. They're very knowledgeable, but they don't always appear to be the most approachable person in the world. Okay. And the reputation, so knowledgeable, I think is the key here, because the reputation seems to be, the Ace of Swords is all about this amazing new idea, this amazing new outlook. Okay, so very intelligent, is how they come across. So I think that kind of does marry up in that way, but perhaps, just a high priestess is suggesting that they might be a bit closed off sometimes. Okay, and with that, we can actually bounce off that because there is a card, Scorpio, which I think that's around here. So it's 12, 11, 10. Yeah. So the King of Swords. So this is a card that is all about secrets. It's about the kind of a stuff that this queen keeps inside them, that they perhaps don't talk about, that they're not upfront with. It's the stuff that's in their private life. Okay. It can also represent things that are changing, transformations that are happening around about them. And we get the King of Swords. Okay, so we're saying that who they are as a person, they don't give everything, they play their cards quite close to their chest, and they don't perhaps give everything away. Um, and the kind of the secrets position, we get the King of Swords, and the King of Swords, I suppose, does tie up quite well with the High Priestess in that regard because the King of Swords is very kind of all about business. There's not they're very kind of or they can be guilty of being quite emotionless. There's not much water going on in the King of Swords. It's all about the intellect. It's all about, the evidence. It's all about the facts. It's all about the truth. Um, and perhaps this person's closed offness or apparent closed offness is more because it's more about emotional approachableness. It's maybe more they're emotionally closed off than they're just completely, that their ideas and their, intellectually they're the person to go to if you've got an intellectual problem, something that requires, you know, innovative thinking and problem solving, then this is the person you want to go to. However, they're maybe not always don't have the best bedside manner is maybe the best way to put it. You know, they're very much a swordsy person at heart, and perhaps can appear quite cold and closed off sometimes. Okay. So there's obviously other cards there, but I don't want to kind of I don't want to kind of read the whole thing. I just wanted to, you know, show the cards and the spread, um, show wee bits of the spread and how this can be quite an interesting spread to read with, you know, because of those different interactions. And those aren't the only interactions, you know, you can look at quite a lot. I think this would be quite interesting to try with Lenormand because of, you know, you're rarely just reading one card alone. It's quite often you're looking at how they interact with the other cards. So this would maybe be quite an interesting one to read with Lenormand. Um, but anyway, I will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Take care, and I will see you all later. Bye bye.